Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. My name is Ramon, and in this video I'm going to show you the ultralight rod that has been helping me catch all my fish. So the rod that I've been catching all my fish on lately has been this rod by Berkley. It is the Berkley Ultralight Trout Lightning Rod. It's part of their Lightning Rod series, and right now it's been my go-to rod. The rod itself is a multi-modulus graphite rod, so it's a graphite blank. It's got stainless steel guides with aluminum inserts, and it's got a double locking reel seat. The cork itself is rubberized cork, so it's got rubber mixed in with the cork, and it's very, very comfortable. So this rod specifically is 6'6", moderate action, ultralight power. It is a two-piece, and it is super sensitive. It's super well balanced when the fishing reel's on it, so that it's super comfortable in the hand. Right there, it's just balancing on my pinky right now. And this is the rod that I've probably been using the most over the summer. As many of you guys know, if you've been following along on the channel, I've been doing a lot of multi-species fishing, specifically ultralight multi-species fishing. This rod has really made it easier for me to detect those bites and cast ultralight lures like this one here into those really hard to reach places, into those tight spaces. Now I've seen this rod available in two different lengths, 6'6" and 7 foot. I like the 6'6" length, but if you want that little bit of extra casting distance, definitely go with that 7 foot rod. They're both moderate powered, so that it has a lot of bend in the rod. You can see that right there, how far it bends into the blank. So I've been fishing with this rod since spring. The reason I bought it was because the ultralight rod that I had was an entry-level combo. It was great. It was a $25 combo. It was one of those catch more fish combos, and it's a great starter pack. You know, you got a rod and reel for 25 bucks. But I just wanted to upgrade my entire setup with a additional rod and reel combo. If I got snagged or if I broke off or whatever, I could easily just pick up another rod and start fishing instead of spending time tying more knots. I tried another rod that I was very unhappy with. It was a two-piece rod and just wasn't happy. It was a waste of 30 bucks in my opinion. Now, I ended up coming across this Lightning Trout rod and was like, this is perfect. I really like it. I had an extra ultralight reel lying around, the Calamus X2 that I had paired with this originally, and for my purposes, it was great. It was super sensitive. Still a two-piece. I do like a two-piece so that I can store it easily if I need to travel with it. It's not taking up that much space. It's definitely an upgrade over my first ultralight combo. This one feels a little bit more durable. Right now, I have it paired up with a Shimano Sienna 1000 series. This has been something that I've been running with for a little bit now, and it's been great. I feel like all together with this combo here, you could do a lot of good fishing without spending a ton of money, and that's kind of the name of the game here. The price point for this rod is for around 40 bucks. You can get it cheaper sometimes on Amazon or during a sale. All big box stores have it, Bass Pro, Walmart, what have you, and honestly, it bang for buck. I think it's probably one of the best ultralight rods out there in the $40 price point. So my main uses for this rod is, like I said, multi-species ultralight fishing. I'm not casting any huge lures on this. The heaviest I'm probably going is like a 1/32 ounce or a 1/16 ounce weighted lure. Even the 1/16 might be a little bit too heavy, but because it is an ultralight rod, I'm not trying to catch like massive fish. Now that's not to say you can't catch massive fish on ultralight rods. I've caught like a 2-pound catfish, 2 to 3 pound catfish on this rod, and it held up pretty well. When I was getting that fish out of the water, this rod was bent completely over, and it held up pretty well. This is what I'm going to be using when I'm throwing things like a mule jig or a really small crankbait. The main use of this rod is for ultralight fishing, some trout fishing, rivers, lakes, things like that, and focusing on trying to get panfish and brim and things like that. And like I said, it is an ultralight moderate rod, and the sensitivity on this thing is amazing considering I only paid 40 bucks for it. I can feel every single bit of structure that I'm hitting, especially when I have like a mule jig tied on. and I can feel all those little tiny bites. I mean, like I said, this is mainly for ultralight fishing, and I can feel every single little bite and little tap in through the rod and into the handle of this fishing rod. And that's kind of what sold me on the Lightning series to begin with. I have since gotten a casting rod for one of my bait casters, and it's probably my favorite bait casting rod because, again, not super expensive, still super durable, super lightweight, and I'm very happy with the overall action. So it's super sensitive. It's very easy to detect those little tiny bites that sometimes you'll miss, especially when you go to jig your lure. You can really see that fish, especially when they're tiny, pull back, and it makes it easy to detect the hit, so then you can set the hook. It's also super durable. Like I said, I've caught a couple catfish with this rod here. It was bent over all the way, but still held up pretty well, did not break. I've been snagged hundreds of times, and again, did not break, was able to break loose or, break off my lure and not damage the rod. However, full disclosure, this is the second trout rod that I bought in this series because I have broken a rod. It was 100% my fault. I got hooked up in a stump in a river. You've probably seen that video. And in frustration, instead of pulling from the handle like you should, I went ahead and grabbed it higher up, probably like right around here, and I cranked that sucker as hard as I could, and it broke literally right above my thumb where I was holding it. So I applied pressure where I shouldn't have, and it broke. I really think, which is why I bought a second one, I really think that if I hadn't have pulled it where I did, it wouldn't have broken. I probably would have broke off the lure instead of breaking my rod in half. So with that said, I think it's super durable, and the benefit is at that $40 price point. Yeah, it's a bummer, it sucked, it broke, but it was a $40 rod, so it didn't hurt that bad. It's not like I bought a $100 or $150 or even $200 ultralight rod to fish with. It's a $40 rod, easily replaceable, not hard to find, so I went out, got another one, and was ready to go immediately afterwards. Overall, in terms of money spent, I think I got $40 worth out of it, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to last me a lot longer, because now I know, don't be an idiot and grab it middle of the rod and crank that sucker. Now the look of this rod, I think, in terms of looks, and a rod is a rod is a rod is a rod, but me, I like it when things look good. So I really like the black, the gray, even the red and yellow and orange in the Lightning rod. I love the way that looks, and it pairs up really well with like a black and red spinning reel. So the original reel that I was running with, the Calamus X2, was also black and red. It's a very good entry-level reel. I've upgraded to the Shimano Sienna, also black and red, matches up great. Love the way it looks. Overall, it's a pretty awesome looking rod. I love the way it looks. It's not overly flashy, but also still looks good and not overly boring. So who do I recommend this rod to? People who are looking to get into ultralight fishing but don't want to buy a combo, want to be a little bit more choosy, have a little bit more budget. That's who I would recommend this rod to. It is a $40 rod. Like I said, sometimes you can get it cheaper. I think for $40, this is the best ultralight rod that you can buy at that price point. Like I said, super sensitive, super durable, looks great. Again, $40 for this rod. Overall, this combo, so I got this Shimano Sienna on sale for like $25, and then I got the rod itself for $40. So all in all, I'm in this for about $65 total for this combo. And now I know there are nicer rods out there, and if you have that budget, definitely go use it if you want a more high-end rod and reel combo. But if you're looking on a limited budget, want to buy something that's not going to hurt if you break it, or if you're looking for something to use with your kids or with yourself if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend too much money, I cannot recommend this rod enough. If you're looking for a rod that's going to help you detect those really small bites without breaking the bank, I definitely recommend getting your hands on one of these rods and testing them out. For $40, it's a solid way to get into ultralight fishing.